Are we starting to see a cool down in the market? So it's now July 2041 or 2021. I don't even know anymore because it seems like this year has just been dragging on for so long. If you're in the real estate market in any way, shape, or form, whether you're a lender, an appraiser, a realtor, a buyer, a seller, investor, it probably feels like this year has just been dragging on. But the big question that a lot of people are thinking is, when will the shift happen in real estate? And I personally think that we are starting to see a shift in the market currently. I do. And I'm gonna go over that with you in this video, and I'm gonna go over a few different factors that I am using to determine and make an assumption that there is a shift happening in this current market right now, especially in the Chester County, Greater Philadelphia area. I do wanna say this first before I jump into the main portion of this video, that I do not think we are moving anywhere near a buyer's market. I truly and honestly think that the strong seller's market that we're seeing will slow down a little bit, but we could potentially be in this position in 1 or 2 years from now. So I really think that the seller's market is definitely going to stick around for a long time, and that's because of the low interest rates. There is no implication that interest rates are going to increase to the 4 or 5%. Also, the buyer demand is still really strong. And with the millennials that are in the market and them making up the largest buying demographic, that trend is going to continue for the next few years. And also, with new home sales not being able to keep up with demand, those three factors alone are going to keep us in a strong seller's market for the foreseeable future. So in this video, I'm going to touch on 4 factors that I'm seeing that are indicating that we are in a slight shift or going to be seeing a slight shift before the end of 2021. And those are the current price reductions in the market, the overall inventory, the number of offers and showings on homes, and the DOM, or the days on market. So let's talk about price reductions first, because I have seen a lot more price reductions in the past 2 to 3 weeks than I've seen all year. In Chester County alone, there have been 65 price reductions in the past week. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, and it doesn't seem like a lot, because it really isn't. But if you're comparing this past week to what we've been seeing all year, 65 price reductions in 1 week is close to the max amount that we've seen all year in Chester County. And if we look at the Greater Philadelphia region as a whole, there have been 607 price reductions in the past week. So what does this mean? It means that sellers and their agents for so long throughout the year are trying to chase these crazy high prices and essentially inflate the market. And now sellers aren't able to get these crazy high prices in all cases. You know, they still are in certain select areas, but generally as a whole, buyers are starting to realize that there are more homes coming on the market, so they don't have to pay the astronomical prices. But again, I want to say that in select areas, they're still getting those crazy high prices, but we're still seeing price reductions as a whole increase in Chester County and the surrounding area. The next factor is the overall inventory. So the overall inventory is increasing, especially in Chester County. Between homes that are coming soon or active on the market, there's 864 in Chester County. Now, if you're thinking that this number is low, you're absolutely right. For a more healthy market, I've been saying this for all year, there should be about 2,500 to 3,500 homes coming soon or active in the MLS in the county alone. But if you're basing it off of what we've been seeing within the first 5 to 6 months of the year, 864 is a lot more than 500 or 600, which is what has been on the market for a while, for most of the year. So there is a slight uptick in inventory. And in the entire Greater Philadelphia region, there's over 7,500 plus homes, which is, again, more than there has been, but not nearly enough to sustain a healthy market. So what does this mean? Well, as life starts to get back to normal, as more people are becoming vaccinated, going back to work, going out and enjoying their lives, going on vacations, having parties, especially this time of year with graduation parties, less people are fearful of putting their home on the market and contracting COVID. I definitely think that plays a huge role into why there are more homes that are coming to the market. The third factor that I want to touch on is the number of showings and the number of offers that we're seeing on listings. We have been seeing a decline in the number of showings on our listings and our brokerage's listings too. You know, we aren't seeing the crazy high numbers of showings in the 60+ range as much anymore, and we aren't seeing 15+ offers on most of the listings that we're putting out there, which we have seen throughout the year. Our team personally listed a home in Philadelphia, which had 25 showings and 1 offer. Whereas if we listed it a few months ago, there probably would have been 50+ showings and at least 3 to 5 offers. And it's hard to make a generalization based off of one listing, but after talking to multiple agents in the brokerage and other agents in general, they are saying the same things too. They're starting to see the shift in the amount of showings and then the amount of offers on their listings personally. I've even heard of agents, ourselves included, accepting the first offer because the first offer in some cases has been the only offer after a week or 2 weeks on the market. So this is also a strong indication that there is a shift that's happening currently in this real estate market. It's crazy to think that getting 1 to 5 offers on a home is low because we were used to seeing 5 to 20 offers for a while. And it's also crazy to think that getting 25 to 30 showings is low because we're used to seeing upwards of 65+ showings for a listing. So the last factor that I want to focus on today for this video is the days on market. We are starting to see a slight uptick in days on market, especially in Chester County. It isn't anything too dramatic, but I have been seeing a good amount of homes still being for sale for over a week. Now that just sounds crazy coming out of my mouth that if a home is on the market for over a week, that it's a long period of time. But based on how the market has been for most of 2021, a home being on the market over a week is generally a long time. The average days on market though in Chester County this year has been 24. Where if you look at what it was this time last year, it was 51. Now that is a huge decrease from 2020. And you also have to take into account new construction homes, which generally don't sell too quickly, and then agents that are trying to way overprice homes that maybe need a lot of work and aren't in great condition that sit on the market for a longer period of time. So with all that being said, I do think that there is a shift that's currently happening. So what does that mean? If you're a buyer, there is more inventory available. The interest rates are still very low. And that means that if you're currently looking for a home, you have slight bit more leverage than you did throughout the year. And if you're selling your home, you're still, in most cases, if your house is in really good shape, and if it's in a good area, you're going to get a premium for your home, which is great. It's generally still going to sell in a very short amount of time, and you still have a lot of leverage too. My prediction for the second half of 2021 is we are going to be getting more inventory. I also do think that the interest rates are going to go up slightly more than where they're at, and it's going to be a better and more healthier situation for buyers because of the amount of inventory that I think that's going to come back. I don't think it's going to be too dramatic. I don't think that everyone that was considering selling their home is just going to list their homes and there's going to be this huge flood of foreclosures, but I do think more inventory is coming to the market. So if you're thinking about selling or buying in Chester County or the surrounding areas, do me a favor, shoot us a text at 484-999-0218. Look forward to speaking with you soon and have a great day. Take care.